Okay. Nako, magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. Ayan, nako. Akala ko nawala ako. Good evening ho. Welcome mo sa ating program. It's another week, no? Dito ho sa ating stasyon, no? Pinoy or Filipino TV Europe. Ay. Good evening, ako po si Sunny Laragan. And of course, this is Tuesday. It's a happy Tuesday. At kapag Tuesday, syempre kasama natin yung pinakamamahal nating abogada, no? Dito sa ating programa, no? Walang iba, kundi si Attorney Dana Quinto. Attorney, magandang gabi sa iyo, no?
Magandang gabi, Mr. Laragan. Ganda ng format Natuwa ako dun sa, yung bagong intro, yung mga graphics. Very sleek. Good evening, everyone. Good evening sa lahat ng mga ka-remote support bubble natin. Wherever, Europe, Filipino TV Europe, UK, we have Canada, US, ng mga kababayan natin sa Canada, US, and Pilipinas sa lahat. Magandang gabi po. Happy Tuesday. And we're back again. Andito na naman tayo, tatambay na naman tayo dito, mag-uusap na kung ano-ano. But obviously, we would talk about one major legal topic, and then please do raise your questions. I may also give clarifications about common questions that I come across, yung mga tanong ng mga kababayan natin via Messenger. May mga nagsisend ng tanong sa Messenger. So, pag hindi, mabilis po ako sumagot sa email, but it's okay. I will try to come back to you kahit sa Messenger po. But also, please note the email at we can have also a phone conversation. I give free 30-minute advice at a convenient time para sa inyo din. So if we miss each other's call, o kaya minsan ay sasabihin mo, ano pa ba after 5 p.m. because I have clients na 9 to 5. Pwede po even after 5 p.m. Actually, mas mabilis mas madali mag-set ng time na appointment after 5 p.m. At may tumatawag kay Mr. Laragan. Hello!
Yes, si Peps tumawag. Oh.
Welcome to the show.
Oh.
Sino man yan?
Good evening. Si Peps. Hello, Peps. Teka muna, may show tayo. Hello, Peps?
Peps,
Oo.
good evening.
Live on the show. Binabati ka ni Dana.
Good evening, Tito Peps.
Oh, good evening. Good evening, Tito Peps daw.
What's for dinner today?
Oh, what's for dinner? Oo, show tayo. Sorry. Napatawag ka. Oo. Yes. Oo, mali yata ang Sorry. Sige. Okay, ayan. Manood ka na. Bumati ka na kay Dana. Okay. Ayan. Dana, ayan.
Tito Peps.
Hi, Tito Peps daw. Ayan. Good evening, Dana raw. Sabi, okay. Alright.
Good
Sige,
evening.
Peps, ha? Baba ko lang to. Oo. Natawagan ko siya. By accidentally kasi na-press ko yung number niya. So, he was returning my call, no? Oo.
Alright.
So, good evening, Tito Peps.
Good
Teka
evening,
muna,
Tito
attorney.
Peps.
Mukhang tayo. Hindi pa tayo uniform tonight para tayong nag-usap yata. Oo, para tayo ng color. Parang, ano ba color ganito? Gray? Anong color ba yan, attorney, sa'yo?
Gray, definitely gray.
Oh,
Yeah,
light
gray
gray,
and white.
oo.
Lighter. Kasi pa-spring na, pa-light na yung energy, di ba?
Mas okay na.
Mas may araw na, mas
Oo.
madami na yung ilaw. So, we're going with the flow of the season. So, lighter colors, pupuntang summer, and hopefully, lalaya na tayo.
Hopefully,
Maya-maya.
no? Depende yan sa 2 or 3 weeks yata. No? Kasi we play it by ear, di ba? May mga plano,
Yeah, that is
pero
true.
we play it by ear. Kung medyo maganda, then tuloy yung next stage. Pag maganda, yung next stages natin.
That's
No?
right.
Pero sa Scotland,
That's
they
right.
already have definite dates, ha? Definite, as in definite dates. Oh. Ang dates natin sa England, depende sa, we will set a date, pero depende pa rin yun, di ba? Kung
Kumbaga kung para ma-clear mo yung level na yan,
Oo.
clear mo muna yung level
Clear
na
mo.
yan bago ka makakapunta sa
Exacto.
level na
Yes.
susunod. Kumbaga parang
Oo.
parang
Oo.
laro. Okay.
Pero ang
Yung
Scotland,
laro.
hindi, definite talaga ito yung dates nila, no? So, which is good, no? At
Definitely
least,
yung days nila. They probably feel confident dun sa ano nila, no? Yung projection nila talagang nag-set na sila ng klarong timetable. But I can see why sa atin na sasabihin mo na nila na we have to be satisfied of of these progress before we can actually set you free. Pero din, nakwento ko sa'yo, ako, mababakunahan na sa Sabado
Oy!
for the first dose.
Oy, that's good
Very,
news.
very happy
Oh,
about
good
that.
news. Attorney,
The
that's
first
very
dose,
good
first
news.
dose.
Kailan ang schedule mo? Kailan ang na-schedule mo?
Saturday at 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Wow.
Diary.
Saturday. Itong Sabado na.
Hindi pa po ako 50. Hindi po ako 50 years old.
Oo nga, kasi parang ano ngayon, nasa 50 pa yata. I think it's 55 yata upwards eh.
And
Or 50.
55 upwards.
Oo,
Yeah, and may mga
55
underlying
upwards.
health conditions. So may mga asthma, napatawag na kami may mga asthma. So nasama po ako dun sa mga napatawag na I'm very, very grateful. Sa,
Teka lang, attorney. Na, di ba? Okay, meron ka na sa Sabado, no? Itong sa Saturday mo. Oo, ayan. Ako, meron ako. Ito na, asan ba sa'yo? Meron kaya sa akin? Ito yung sa akin. When was this? February 23rd, 23.
Yeah.
Oo, so mga 3 weeks ago. More or less.
Yes,
no?
that's right.
Oo, so
That's right.
up to 12 weeks. Sa'yo yata, anong mga balita? May balita yata sa'yo eh.
Balita, yung sa akin pag-book ko ng first dose, naka-book agad. Tinanong agad ako kung gusto ko i-book yung second dose. So, sabi ko, yes. Sabi, okay, and then pick a time. Talagang binook na, June 5, nasa balo kung ano yung June,
Wow.
June
So, bago
5
summertime na yan.
second dose ko.
Attorney, summertime na yan, no? June.
Summertime, yeah.
So,
June 5,
tama, ganda mo,
so-
kumpleto ka na. Meron ka ng dalawa ng doses, no? Wow, okay.
Kasi akala ko noong una talaga, parang, uy, naimbitahan ako. Akala ko scam noong una.
Siyempre, di ba? Oo. Dahil wala, ang layo mo pa, wala ka pa nga 40, eh. Di ba? Ang layo mo pa, eh.
Hindi ko naman na mauna ako. I mean, kung kailan lang ako tawagin, happy na ako basta mapaunahan. So, I think yung history ng asthma propped me up sa priority level. So, nung natawag, talagang book agad ako. Sabi ko, hala, ayan na. Tapos nagulat ako kasi ito pala yung, hindi ko rin nabalitaan noon na pwedeng mag-book ng second dose. Sa tingin ngayon lang pala ata nila niro-roll out itong booking system na pati second dose.
Pati second dose.
Mabubook na. So, at nakakuha na ako ng briefing sa mga healthcare workers ko na kaibigan. Thank you. Nasaysay kina Christine sa Sussex na nabukunahan katulad mo at briefing ako kung ano daw ang kailangan kong i-prepare. I don't know about you, ano bang naramdaman mo? Ang common na sinasabi, talagang soreness of the arm. Yun talaga parang...
Yun, the day after, attorney, the day after, kung saan sinaksakan sa akin. Saan ba ako? Dito. Dito.
Left,
medyo sore yun the following day. Pero other than that, wala na. Siguro one day lang yun. Yung soreness. Wala pong
side effect.
yung aking partner, si Sol, makwento ko lang, nagkaroon siya ng ano pangalan nito? The same side effects, yung parang may lump sa kanilang armpit. Oo, sa ilalim ng armpit niya, tapos a bit of headache. Yun,
Yeah.
same. Oops, same siya. From the very first one till the second one. Natapos na sa kanya kasi last Friday, yung second dose niya. Last Friday, yes. Inihintay ko lang yung sa akin, bale. So, yun lang. Tingnan natin, attorney, kung may mga...
Second dose mo, Second dose na, tapos na si Sol, Nakapag-second dose na.
Yes, second dose na yata. Tapos na yung kanya second dose. At, yan, awa na Diyos, at least wala nang masyadong problema, no? Feeling niya, parang, although you're not feeling invincible, parang yung kampante na yung loob mo na kung sakaling tamaan ka ng COVID, hindi ka yung grabe o hindi mo ikamamatay. Di ba? Yun ang importante ron, eh.
Salamat naman,
Yes, tignan
Salamat
mo, may mga
naman
pagbati. Natapos na.
May pagbati tayo. Sige.
May pagbati lang tayo, mga kaibigan. Well, a couple of people would like to greet us, no? So, tignan lang natin kung nasan tong ating mga pagbati. Ayan. Pero ikaw, how was your weekend? By the way, how was your weekend, attorney?
No, it was good. It was alright. Just staying at home. Talagang towards the end na ng lockdown, kumbaga kaya ingat pa rin kasi haba na ng sakripisyo natin lahat. So, just staying put at the moment. Kahit miss ko na talagang bumisita sa mga kaibigan. I'm hoping for Easter weekend. So I saw a few friends sa Zoom katulad over the weekend. So hopefully Easter weekend, I don't know kung anong easing of restrictions, may outdoors na ata, pwede ka makipagkita
Kailan ba
outdoors.
Easter? Kailan ba to? Itong first week ba
And
ng April?
end of March po.
End of March.
End of March.
All right.
End of March, nearly end of March. So I'm hoping
Oo.
na by then, kahit outside lang, kahit garden na makipagkita sa mga
Yung
at
mga
least
friends
one,
mo.
isang household ata allowed sa isang household. So let's see.
Attorney siya nga pala. Uy, teka muna. Yung mga nanonood ho, kung nanonood ho kayo, dito ho kayo sa Filipino TV Europe, no? Kung kayo yung nanonood dati sa, ano pangalan to, attorney, sa Pinoy Radio UK.
Pinoy Radio UK.
Wala na ho kayo.
Kinalimutan mo na, Mr.
Wala, oo. Hindi, wala na kayo ho. Pag bumati ho kayo ron, hindi ho namin ma-flash sa screen sa TV ho. Kamukha halimbawa nito, no? Kaya kailangan lumipat ho kayo. Yung mga, kasi minsan, ang ginagawa ni Edgar Duway, sinusundo pa niya sa kabila. Parang makikipag-chat pa siya. Oo, lipat ho tayo. May bago ho tayong tahanan. Doon ho tayo ngayon.
Mag-uwa na po tayo.
Oh, yeah. So, yun ang maganda ron, no? Si
Hello,
Edgar, yan.
this way, please.
Edgar, mabuhay ka, no? Si Edgar, love na love natin si Edgar. So ito, attorney, halimbawa, ito yung mga pagbati ngayon, no? So both on YouTube, no? Filipino TV Europe, at saka dito ho. So ayan. Bumabati sa atin. Mababasa mo ba, attorney? Pakibasa nga lang.
Opo, yes. Marian Galicia Panera, Facebook. Makita ko yung icon Facebook. Hello po, Kuya Sunny and Attorney Dana. At sa lahat, happy Tuesday po and stay safe and God bless po. God bless then, Marian. It's nice to see every Tuesday. Nakakatawa.
Yes.
Almost as well na parang chinecheck mo na okay yung mga kababayan natin.
Yes.
Okay yung mga ka-support bubble natin. Para may checking of attendance. Okay ba kayo? Healthy ba?
Tama ka.
That's good. So check in. Roll call tayo para
pagka wala sila dyan, feeling natin baka may problema, no? Kaya kailangan check in ho kayo sa
Patuloy
amin, no?
natin kay Edgar.
Oo. Check in kayo. Okay. Next one, attorney, pakibasa.
Next one. Emily Rofel, all caps. Good evening. Sorry, Sunny, siguro Sunny. And Attorney Dana, nice to see you both again and happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, Emily.
That's a sign of parang love for us dahil talagang all caps talaga siya, no? Every time, oo. Hindi ko alam kung ang reason yan, Emily, dahil 'di ba pagka medyo teenager ka, yung mga teenager, yung mga tipong yung 'di ba? Kailangan mas malalaki letra. Mas malalaki.
Hindi na ako teenager.
Good evening. Yeah. Good evening. We love you, Emelina. Eto, okay. Yes, you were talking about yours, no? Yung vaccination. Ayan. Timothy, sige, pakibasa, attorney.
I got mine today. Timothy Rogers, congratulations.
Is that your first one?
As well.
Timothy, first one? First dose?
First dose.
It's good. Most likely it's the first dose.
Let us know if it's your first dose. Timothy's commenting from Facebook. I can see from the
from Facebook. There, the ID on the lower
right-hand
corner.
There's an icon on the right.
Ito, sige, tingnan mo anong next icon natin.
Let's celebrate together. Yeah. Juliet Marcelino, hello, good evening.
YouTube, This is YouTube.
This is YouTube. Happy Tuesday to all the viewers. Happy Tuesday, Juliet. And I hope you're okay and you are well and safe. Kahit na nasan ka man.
Juliet, mabuhay ka. Juliet, mabuhay. Pagka nasa YouTube sila, parang kamukha na, J lang ang pangalan. Ito, kamukha nito, ito, best friend natin to, attorney. Ito yung the guy who coined the day, the night, no?
Yes.
Ayan.
Ang ating original, ang original, the original source of Happy Tuesday. We should always credit him kasi talagang ginagamit niya ng lahat eh. Happy Tuesday, choosing to be happy, choosing to be positive. Thank you, Edgardo Cagahastian Enriquez. Ayan, good PM, Mr. Laragan and Attorney Dana. Happy Tuesday and stay safe there. Nakakatawa kasi talagang parang, may alam mo na okay sila. You know na after a week, they're still well, they're still safe.
Yes.
And maayos pa rin ang mga kababayan natin. It really does feel like a support bubble na throughout the pandemic.
Na-notice mo, attorney, kapag nasa YouTube, Edgardo Enriquez lang siya. Pero pagka naka sa Facebook siya, may Kagahasyan. Edgardo Kagahasyan Enriquez. So good evening Edgardo ha. Mabuhay ka. Thank you
Yes.
for being there, no? Ayan. Ito na naman, parang hindi mapakali si Emmeline. Bumati na naman. Siguro parang...
Facebook pa rin. Facebook ata.
Facebook
Kanina
siya,
ba,
oo.
Facebook pa rin. Good evening, so nice to see you
Ito
guys
yun.
again and happy Tuesday. Baka hoon mo lang. Bumati lang ulit. Para
Oo, yes.
Sure
Emmeline,
na,
mabuhay ka.
pa-hook.
Thank you. Ito,
Mabuhay ka.
from YouTube. Attorney, YouTube to.
Belinda's hello Belinda and Robin little one. 4th of April ang Easter Sunday. Thank you so much, Belinda. Thank you. Yeah, end of first week
End
of
of,
April.
yes, and the Holy Week starts at the end
Holy
of
Week talaga.
March and ends on the 4th of April. Ayun, tama.
I'm
Oo.
really
Mabuhay,
looking forward
mabuhay,
to that.
mabuhay.
Thank
Looking
you
forward
so
to.
Mabuhay kayo and hope you're
Mabuhay,
staying
mabuhay.
Robin the little one
Atcha.
and the little
And of course,
Yes, yes.
Emmeline would like to say hello to us. So mabuhay kayo.
Thank you,
Emmeline,
Simon.
thank you very much. Mabuhay. Thank you very
Mabuhay
much.
ka,
Mabuhay, mabuhay.
Emmeline.
Okay. So mamaya kung may mga
Yeah.
questions o kayo, andito available si attorney for tonight, no? Dito sa ating program. But in the meantime, attorney, mag-break muna tayo. Pagbalik natin, ang topic ho natin for tonight, ni attorney, is ito ho, no? Ito ang topic natin for tonight. Ayan. Legal topic, no? Section 25. Ano yun? Witness statement in matrimonial finance cases. Yan ang tatalakayin ni attorney. So, wag ho kayo nga alis, no? Kuha lang kayo siguro na maiinom habang nagbe-break tayo. At pagbalik natin, tuloy-tuloy na ho tayo sa ating programa, no? So, wag ho kayo nga alis, no? Saglit po lamang.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, serbisyong mapagkakatiwalaan, serbisyong maaasahan pagdating sa inyong mga padalang balikbayan boxes. Dito ka na sa Forex Cargo. Sa presyong kayang-kaya ng bulsa, sigurado ka pa sa inyong padala. Forex Cargo. Dahil kailangan makarating. Call 0208-813-7064. O, ano pang inaantay niyo mga kabayan? Tayo na sa Forex Cargo.
%100% all natural. Tasty. Healthy. Versatile. 4 unique flavors. Taste a real sauce. Galettos.
Okay, balik ho tayo sa ating program, no? Dito ho sa ating programang Legal Advice Corner on anong araw ba ngayon, di ba? Tuesday, happy Tuesday ho ngayon, no? Kaya't sana'y okay ho kayo dyan, no? Medyo umiinit na ng konti, hindi kasi kamukha ng mga nakaraang araw ho, pag saksakan ng lamig. Ngayon, okay na ho. At medyo, not totally, no? Hindi naman totally ho na umiinit na, pero mas tumataas na ho yung temperatura. Okay, well, balik ho tayo, no? Siyempre, kasama natin yung ating pinakamamahal na abogada, yung ating the reason why we're having this program. Siyempre, walang iba kundi si Attorney Dana, Attorney Dana, si Attorney Dana Quinto. Attorney, magandang gabi once again. Ano ba yan? Naalala ko si Edgar Cagastian kasi, di ba? So, good evening once again. Good evening sa iyo, no? Good evening. Ayan.
Good evening, sir.
Gusto ko lang kasi pasok yung mga additional pagbati sa iyo, Attorney. Kaya,
Sige po,
sa atin,
sige po,
no?
bati muna tayo.
Kaya ano lang na may nakita lang ako rito mga ano eh. Oo.
Bago yung class natin today. Bati
Yeah,
muna
si
tayo.
Virginia Ilona says, parang ano ba to? Thank you for, sabi niya, ano yan? Thank you. Yan, pumasok
Oh,
sa akin.
thank you.
Ayan.
Ay, ito na naman yung gandang, ano ba tawag dyan? Yung,
parang ano eh,
emoticon, sticker.
Emoticon siya, parang ganyan,
sticker,
lumalabas
yan,
eh.
emoticon art.
Sabi niya, ayan, Attorney, pakibasa sa'yo. Para sa'yo yata yan eh.
Good evening, Sonny and Attorney Dana Quinto. Good luck sa coming vaccination. Thank you po. Maraming salamat.
March 20, alam niya ang
ang
date?
New Year. Yes, yeah, it's a Saturday, sabi ko. New Year ng Iran. Keep safe. Thank you so much.
New Year ng
Year ko din.
Iran?
Feeling ko, New Year.
Oo.
New Year ba nila? Ang galing ano? Paano?
Okay,
Galing.
keep safe.
Mga
Okay,
trivia
sabi.
talaga dito sa show na to.
Exacto, no?
New
We
Year
get to
nila.
learn. They learn from you. No, we learn a lot from you.
We learn
Tayo
from
naman, we
them
learn
as
from them
well.
with the sharing that they give us,
Yeah,
mga tidbits,
exactly.
mga trivia, no? Oh yeah, Attorney, sige, pakibasa lang sa'yo.
May Tigbao Vargas. Good evening, Sir Sonny and Attorney Dana, watching from Exeter, Devon. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
May.
Happy Tuesday, May. Kamusta sa Devon? Mas mainit ata sa kanila eh. Normally,
Mas mainit sa kanila sa Devon. Oo.
Ayan,
Pero ngayon, hindi na kasi
they're
lamig
south,
nung
no?
last week, di ba, Attorney? Nung last week, talagang
Yeah.
malamig. Kala mo, winter time pa, no? Pero
Winter
hopefully,
time
yun,
ulit,
at least
yeah.
painit na sana, pabalik na tayo. At
Dahan-dahan.
the more na mabakunahan, lahat, kasama si Attorney Dana Quinto, mas malaki ang chances natin na mag-open tayo, mag-ease down tayo sa mga restrictions, no? Sa atin.
Exactly.
Ito, yung ating very good friend from Northern Ireland, no?
Ayun.
Yan.
Happy Tuesday, Sir Sonny, Attorney Gandadana, and all kababayan from Belfast, Rudy. Good evening, and good evening to Mia. May bagong album ata si Mia. I saw the other day, or may
For
may
new song,
bagong
no? New song niya. Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
it's a new
oo.
song. So congratulations, Mia. I'm sure it is great, and all the best sa career mo, Mia.
Yes.
Nakaka-proud ka.
Very,
Nakaka-proud.
very talented
Very,
na
very
bata. Very, very talented.
Oo,
Bilib ako dyan kay
nakakatawa
Mia
yan.
Librojo, no? Librojo ang
Exactly.
tawag nila, no?
Ay,
Attorney,
Librojo ba po? Ay, sorry,
Oo.
sorry.
No, pero hindi.
Librojo ba?
Librojo sa Pilipino. Oo. Kamukha ko
Ay,
dito.
Librojo sa atin po, no?
Laragan. Ikaw, Dana Quinto. Di ba? Quinto ka dito?
Yeah, that's right.
Oo,
yeah.
pero sa ating Quinto.
Quinto.
Ako, Laragan. Sunny Laragan. Pero dito, Sunny Laragan. Yeah? So, sila,
Laragan.
Librojo.
Yeah,
O yung
Librojo.
kababayan kong Bisaya, Ilocano, sila Ugay ang surname mo, Ugay. It's an Ilocano surname.
Ugay, yes, that's
Yes,
right.
but here in the UK they call him Ugay eh. So
Yugay, yeah.
Ugay.
Ano,
oo,
iba
so-
talaga yung mga pangalan natin dito eh.
Eksakto, no? So Ugay ang tawag, ano ba? Meron akong nakita attorney kasi nakikita ko Attorney Dana ganda, sabi nila. Pero I saw also, 'di ba you started with DQ, Attorney DQ, ganyan, no?
Apo.
May nakita ko na dagdagan eh, Attorney D cute, parang D cute, no? Because yung Q mo, nilagyan ng UTE, no? So, may
Nakakatawa.
Attorney Ganda, Attorney D cute, no? So, well, at least, no? Natutuwa sila sa iyo, Attorney, no? At,
Nakakatawa
because-
po ng puso. Thank you.
so, ayan, mabuhay ka. Sabi kasi ng attorney ni Rudy. Attorney ka ba, Rudy? Natatawagin ko sa Attorney Rudy. Sabi ko sa Attorney Ganda, Ganda Dana. Ayan, oo. Yun.
Nakatanggal ng stress ng buhay pag umuwi dito, no? So,
Yes,
so,
yes.
parang Pilipinas lang eh.
May mga rhymes ka, Attorney, ha? Kasi Dana, Ganda. Yung kaibigan ko si Robert Labayan, Sunny
Opo.
Laragan, kaibigan. Oh, gan. Ngayon ko lang na-realize, after so many years,
Galing.
Laragan,
Galing.
kaibigan. Ikaw naman, Dana, ganda. So, kompleto ta. Yun naman, you will believe him, attorney, si Rudy Libro. Alam mo ko bakit? Kasi mahusay mag-compose yung anak niya eh. Si compose, diba, yung mga songs niya? So, yung tatay, siyempre, saan ba nagmana yan? Kundi sa tatay.
Exactly.
So, kung gumawa siya ng attorney, Dana, ganda. So, may rhyming. Parang gumagawa ng kanta, no? But thank you very much, Rudy, ha?
Lyrics,
Thank you very
maganda,
much.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
nakakataba
Thank
ng
you so
puso
much.
yan.
And nakakataba ng puso. Hope everyone is okay sa Belfast. Hindi, I don't know kung lockdown ba sila doon or what's the situation there, Rudy? Kamusta po kayo
Parang
dyan?
may nabasa ako kanina eh. Hindi ko masyado lang matandaan. Pero may nabasa ako na nag-i-ease down din sila. Meron din sila mga dates yata eh. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali. Diyan sa sa may, ano pangalan yan? Sa Northern Ireland, no?
Northern Ireland.
Hindi ko alam,
Ireland,
attorney, kung matuloy, may balak, di ba, gawa ng bridge yan from Scotland, papunta ng oo, sana matuloy, pero pinag-aaralan pa eh.
Sana matuloy.
Sana matuloy, parang
sana
isang
matuloy.
drive na lang tayo papunta ron, no? Di ba? Parang joyride, no? Ayan.
Exactly.
Okay. Ito na, attorney, sige, simulan natin yung topic for tonight and you're gonna be talking about yung Section 25, parang nakaka-intriga. Ano ba yung
Section 25, yes.
Bakit ba?
Ano nga ba yan?
Ano nga ba yan?
Dami nagtatanong, ano nga ba yan? Kasi minsan sasabihin nila, i-order ng court, magbigay kayo ng Section 25 statement. Sasabihin ko, saan naman ang galing yung Section 25 statement na yan, Dana? Section 25 is from Section 25 of the Matrimonial Causes Act 1973. So ito yung general guidance ng korte. Kung ano yung checklist or factors na kailangan nila tingnan para i-apply yung jurisdiction, yung discretion nila as judge ng isang matrimonial finance cases. So andun lahat. So kung gusto mong bumalik sa umpisa, kung ano talaga tatanong mo, Dana, karamihan ng mga tanong sa divorce, in some ways, directly or indirectly, tatanong nila, ano ba yung nakaka-apekto ng hatian sa divorce dito sa UK? Ano ba yung nangaliwa ba? Naka-apekto ba yan? The fact na ako yung breadwinner ng pamilya namin, naka-apekto ba yan? The fact na yung mga bata, below 18, most of them, nakaka-apekto ba yan? So, ito yung mga unang tinatanong sa akin kapag nag-inquire sila as to how they can divide their matrimonial finances. So that's in many ways, ito yung talagang nasa isip ng mga, not only kababayan, but any person who is in the middle of the unfortunate circumstance of having to separate financially dun sa kanilang sa spouse nila, husband or wife, after many years, or short, sometimes it's short as well, of sharing finances. So, ang sagot po ay nasa Section 25 ng Matrimonial Causes Act. Nandun, hindi po ito calculator, hindi po ito formula, hindi po ito eksakto na ito yung percentage na ibibigay ng korte. Hindi po ganyan yung nakalagay dun sa Section 25 factors, sa Section 25 of the Matrimonial Causes Act. Kung titingnan nyo, kung i-google nyo yan, what it will list, ang makikita nyo listahan ay mga, exactly as what I said, factors, mga kung ano-anong circumstances ng buhay natin na dadaanan ng korte when they make a decision on whether to, on how they will divide your matrimonial assets and in what manner. I'm just gonna go back a little bit kung ano yung process ng matrimonial finances. We're gonna go back again from the start na sinabi ko, yung tatlong areas kung magdi-divorce kayo. There are 3 separate issues or concerns na kailangan yung you need to deal with. The first one is children. The second one is the process of getting divorced. Yung talagang magdi-divorce lang on the formality of it, the paperwork of getting divorced. And the third one is finances. So let's just remember that again for a minute. Separate yan. If you remember a few episodes ago, nilagay ko yan into three coupon bands, 3 A4 papers para makita ng kliyente. And I actually do this in practice. Para makita ng kliyente, separate yung contact. When I say children, ito yung contact nyo, ha? Ito yung kung paano, yung tinatawag natin custody, but what we call contact order dito, or residence order dito sa UK. That's actually separate. Wag nating i-mix yan. It will have some impact on the basis kung sino yung saan titira yung bata. But apart from that, hindi na malaki yung impact niyan dun sa the third na bond paper na sinasabi ko, which is the finances. And the second issue, which is just the process of getting divorced. And that's the reason why when I'm advising yung client, nilalagay ko tatlong paper yan, tatlong issues yung kailangan nating i-deal with. So let's get through the children contact first, and let me hear out bakit kayo nag-divorce, and then the third one is finances. In finances, what you would do normally is you would gather yung financial documents ng client mo. And then the other side, yung kabilang partido, gather din yung financial documents nila. It could be as informal as kayo lang without lawyers. You will get all the information yourselves and you will put it on the table, sa kitchen table nyo, and you will say, ito yung assets and liabilities natin. How do we move on from hereafter? And you will see why that is very important. Dahil kapag i-apply mo yung Section 25 factors, dadaanan mo yung mga impormasyon na ibibigay nung setting out your assets and liabilities in that manner. So when you do that, so you will try to deal with it. Most of the clients will try to deal with it themselves. If they can't deal with it, they go to lawyers or they go to court. And when the court receives that request, the court will ask the same thing. So sabihin ng korte, give us your disclosures. Give us your disclosures. And whilst they're doing that, maririnig mo to sa mga lawyers, Section 25 factors. You will repeatedly hear this from the court and from your lawyers. Nasasabihin, according to Section 25 factors. In many ways, mag-a-appear tong Section 25 factors. When you see these forms, yung Form E, the way Form E is being compiled with, dinadaanan niya rin yung Section 25 factors. The way your lawyer will set out your case, dadaanan niya yung Section 25 factors na yan. And when you absolutely cannot agree, na-try niyo na lahat yung settlement hearing, etc., the court will say to you, before yung final hearing nyo, sasabihin nila, look, we have to order you both to produce your witness statement. And this is possibly the only witness statement that will have the most weight sa matrimonial finances. And the name of this specific witness statement is called a Section 25 statement. Kasi hindi ito statement kung bakit hindi kayo forever, bakit hindi nag-work yung marriage nyo, hindi ito yung statement na bakit hindi siya mabuting asawa o bakit nag-fail yung marriage. This is just, and that's the reason why they call it Section 25 statement. Kasi dadaanan ng statement na yon, yung Section 25 factors. And the court will actually say, minsan sasabihin nila yung limit ng pages. But actually, kahit hindi nila sabihin yon, it is in your best interest na yung daanan mo lang yung Section 25 factors na yun. So what is this? What is Section 25 factors? And ano yung witness statement? When I look at that statement, ano yung makikita ko? Ano actually pag sinabi sa akin na in order ng court sa akin, I want your Section 25 statement, ano yung lalagay natin doon? So in some ways, it's a story ng yung matrimony, how this particular case, how this family has built up their matrimonial assets. So, ang start noon is yung history ng buhay mo, a slight history. So, I've said hindi po ito thesis kung ano yung naging yung romantic background ninyo. This is just a history. Kung ano yung buhay mo, ano yung background, how was your life before the marriage? The same, the other side as well, pwede kang magsabi, ito yung ginagawa ng spouse ko before the marriage. Most importantly, kung ano yung tinitingnan dyan is ano yung work, employment, history, how you were, ano yung financial circumstances at that time when you got married, ano yung sitwasyon ninyo before you got married. Very, very, very brief history. With that as well, yun ang natural na is details of premarital assets. So pwede mong sabihin doon na at that time na I inherited this from my parents, may lupa sa ganito, sa ganyan, na napamana na sa akin, or kumpanya na napamana sa akin. Or you can say as well na at that time, na-build up ko na yung pension ko because this is a second marriage. Or alternatively, sasabihin mo, wala kaming premarital assets at that time. Everything started when we have the joint enterprise together as husband and wife. So, dadaan tayo dyan. Because one of the Section 25 factors is contribution and resources before premarital assets and during matrimonial assets. Remember, hindi ko sinasabi na kailangan na magkakaroon ng malaking weight na yun ang pwede mong gamitan para sabihin, I need to have more percentage of this. Ang sinasabi lang natin, dadaanan natin yung story so that it can help the court with their jurisdiction later on. Kung sasabihin nila, how much weight will they attach dun sa history, yun sa part ng buhay nyo na yun. So you will say that, sasabihin mo kung meron man or wala kayong dinalang premarital assets sa marriage. And then you will go on to the marriage history. Again, hindi ito yung unless you're running what we call a conduct case na nagkaroon ng impact yung conduct ng kabila sa financial position ng pamilya nyo. This is just a brief history of marriage. How long the marriage was, kung nag-live-in ba kayo, we call it cohabitation in the UK. How long did you live together before getting married? So we have an idea kung gaano katagal nag-entangle yung finances nyo. Kung gaano katagal kayong you set out this life together. Now, one would probably go out to work and the other person would take care of the children, hence could not advance their career. With that would come as well the children, the narrative about the children, ilang taon na sila, adults ba sila, young children ba ito, what are their anong sitwasyon, are they going to university, ano ba yung needs ng mga children, are they likely to leave home, or are they going to stay home? So yun yung story. So we're carrying on with the Section 25 story, the needs of the children. And then, andun na tayo sa gitna ng marriage, we will talk about kung meron kang contribution argument. Sabihin mo na, yung ibang situation, they will say, they would just like to make it known na sila yung breadwinner ng family for a very long time, or they were a brilliant entrepreneur during the course of the marriage and even before of the marriage, and they built up this fortune dahil genius sila o dahil, for example, there was a particular case dahil magaling silang singer, a rock star actually. That's a well-known case. It's Paul McCartney case and Heather Mills. It's a well-known precedent English system. It's a very much public case, and that was one of the arguments. Then everyone knows Paul McCartney. So isa sa mga argumento ni Paul McCartney is that within the marriage, and even before ng marriage niya, he's been married a few times. Even before ng marriage niya, he was already a successful celebrity, a successful a musician, a successful pop star and rock star. So he ran that argument na ang contribution niya sa marriage was, and the legal principle is it's an elephant in the room that you can't just ignore. It's so immense, it's so tremendous na it is very clear it is an exceptional circumstance. Hindi lang ito yung natural na somebody had to work out, somebody had to work, and the other person would have to take care of the children. His contribution to the marriage is uh, extraordinary, more than the usual circumstance, because of this gift that he has in music. So that's one of the arguments that they ran. Also, may mga ibang argumento na sasabihin nila, oh, matagal na kami actually nag-separate, and after ng separation namin, I did very well. I nag-move on ako at I placed my efforts sa negosyo ko, and you can see na nung hindi na ako namang problema sa partner ko, sa asawa ko, I managed to build up this business, and this is after the marriage or after the separation. So again, you can talk about that. You can talk about that in the marriage. You can say a little bit about the breakdown of the marriage. However, hindi po ito yung grievance procedure para sabihin in very, very long narrative kung bakit hindi kayo nag-work out. This is just to give the court a flavor of what happened. Ano ba nangyari? Bakit nag-breakdown yung marriage na yun? Again, hindi ito yung only factor. Hindi din ito dapat gamitin na instrumento para to have a go at the other side in what we go here in UK. So you can have a little bit of breakdown to tell the court yung story and this is what happened. And then you move on to the current circumstances. Ano na ngayon? Ano na nangyayari sa'yo ngayon? What's your income? Ano yung career mo? Ano yung naging career mo noon? Ano yung career mo ngayon? Ano yung magiging career mo moving forward? Ano yung mortgage capacity mo ngayon? And ano yung earning capacity we touch? So ano yung borrowing capacity mo? So earning and borrowing capacity. Ano yung liability mo? Did you have to incur liability because you had to move out? Na kailangan mo mag-umpisa uli, and that's your situation at the moment. So that's one of the things that you need to talk about. Also, kung ano yung housing needs mo, nasan ka naman yun? Are you renting dahil hindi afford bumili or nakabili ka na, and ito yung binabayaran mong mortgage per month, and obviously there will be a difference ng outgoings kasi dati isang household lang. And now, you have to have two households kasi separated na kayo. So that's the story as well. So, ano yung needs mo ngayon? Ano yung needs ng children? If you're the one who's looking after the children, ano yung needs nila? Ano yung future needs? Are they going to university? Are we looking at a difference in living expenses now that the circumstances have changed? Also, you can then talk about expectations ng future resources. What does that mean exactly? Pwede mo sabihin na, okay, you can, kung may tatanungin, and the court will ask, and you have to touch upon it, na may mamanahin ka ba? Or in the works ba na may mamanahin ka? But this is imminent, hindi to yung dahil alam mo na yung parents mo nakasave up. It doesn't work. Hindi yun yung imminent. That's not imminent enough. Imminent is, and I say this with all, I hope I'm not coming across sensitive, kung andun na, very much in the deathbed na, or namatay na at pinoprocess na yung mana, that's future resources. If you think the other side as well has future resources, then you can mention that too. So those are, in a story-like manner, yun yung application of Section 25 factors. So they're looking at really, and babalik ko kung bakit yung una naming tinatanong sa mga kliyente namin is asan yung disclosure nyo? Asan yung financial disclosures nyo? Nag-disclose na ba kayo sa isa't isa? Kasi kung titingnan mo yung Section 25 statement, how you can answer that is by producing all these financial disclosures, i.e., yung wage slips mo. Kung may negosyo ka, yung bank, business accounts or yung audited accounts ng business mo. When you look at your living expenses, bank statements mo. When you look at your liabilities, titingnan mo din credit card statements mo. when you look at your housing needs at kung ano yung resources mo at the moment. So you look at your portfolio, ano ba yung asset namin, magkano ba yung bahay namin, magkano ba yung utang namin sa bangko for the mortgage, magkano ba yung lupa sa Pilipinas, magkano yung pension namin, what's the cash equivalent value. We never ask that. All of us are just paying into automatically 5% top up by the government since 2016. Everyone has been paying in pension. But you don't actually know how much may specific value yan. Hindi yan equally kung ano yung kino-contribute natin. There is what we call a cash equivalent transfer value ng pension. Mostly you get a letter every year kung magkano yung pension, magkano na yung pension pot mo. But if you're paying for a very long time, also NHS pension, may mga separate pension na pot sila. It changes after a few years, and you will only really know if you ask for the figure particularly. So that's something. And how you can get that, you can't just, hindi lang natin agad-agad makukuha yan. Most of the time, you actually have to ask for those documents. So bago ka makarating dito, kailangan mo muna gawa yung assignment mo. Hanapin mo muna yung mga dokumento na yun. So you look for that pension document. Mortgage capacity, sino tatanungin ko niyan, Dana? So you go to a mortgage broker, tatanong mo, ito yung sitwasyon ko ngayon. I'm about to divorce. How much am I going to be able to borrow? Kasi maghihiwalay na kami ng bahay. Can I know kung makakabili ba ako ng bahay? So most of the time they would ask for your wage slips as well. So naka-prepare na yan. You can give them your wage slips. You can give them whatever it is that you need. Savings, kung ano yung nasa ISA nyo, nasa savings account. So that's something that's how you can answer that question, by doing that homework, the legwork of financial documents as well. So with that, it also means looking back at the past. Ano ba yung before we get to the before we approach, we lived together, or before we got married. Ano ba yung sitwasyon namin noon? And it's actually very difficult kung yung time to go back is very, very long. If it's 20, 30 years, who knows? There was one case that we have to do, and we have to look at historic documents at that time. And it was quite hard kasi hindi naman perfecto ang buhay. Not all the documents are being preserved, thinking that you're going to have a divorce in about 20 years' time. And that's the reason why I say sometimes na yung mga prenuptial agreements are not that bad. Hindi ganun ka unromantic to. Obviously, we're talking about divorce, and it's not the most romantic topic of all. But that's when prenuptial agreements can help. Kasi pag andun na yung mga figures sa prenuptial agreement, hindi mo na kailangan mag-isip, hindi mo na kailangan mag-go back sa memory lane. You don't need to go there. You just get your prenuptial documents and you say, ito pala yung ano namin, sitwasyon namin at the time of the marriage. So that's when those things will be able to help. So as you can see, itong Section 25 statement ay hindi lang a free-for-all na chance to talk about whatever we want to talk about sa finances. You would have to follow a certain guidance or template, at kailangan niyang matouch yung mga factors na sinasabi ng Section 25 provision of Section 25 of the Matrimonial Causes Act. And in order to do that, kailangan mo gawin yung homework mo. You really need to go get those financial disclosures. You really need to prepare those documents. You really need to find out, ano ba yung nagko-comprise? You will hear this often. This is a common lingo sa family law. Ano ba yung nasa sa matrimonial pact? Ano ba yung nakalagay dyan sa pot na yan? In order for us to properly divide the pot, we need to find out how big, how small, how massive this pot is, so that you and your spouse can make probably one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. So here we are. That Section 25 statement in matrimonial finances is really just a story that sets out assets and liabilities and all other factors mentioned by Section 25 of the Matrimonial Causes Act. And how you can do it pretty much is to do your homework in respect of financial disclosures.
Ayan, okay. So, okay, ayan, no? A Section 25 witness statement in matrimonial finance cases, no? So,
I just want to say as well, Mr. Laragan, ang madami kasi minsan, alam na nila, kumbaga alam na nila yung may rough idea sila ng finances nila. But they want to go there straight away. Oh, ito na, settled na kami, Dana. We're all there. And that's well and good. Kaso, kahit yung settlement na agreement na gustong i-seal ng korte, it comes with an extra paperwork, which is a snapshot of assets and liabilities. What I'm trying to say is that talagang nire-recommend ng korte, almost required, not just recommended, required to do a bit of homework sa financial disclosures nyo. Do your disclosures, do your homework. Kunin niyo yung mga dokumento, get the documents, get it in writing, get your bank statements, get the mortgage redemption statement from the bank. And kung magsisettle kayo between yourselves and you have the paperwork between yourselves, it's so easy to put it dun sa other. Yung sabi ko, kahit may settlement nga, gusto pa ng korte tingnan yung ano nyo, yung summary ng assets and liabilities nyo. Hindi lang yung Section 25 statement. So please do your disclosures. Or before you go to your lawyers, I will save you the time because it is the same thing that we will ask you before you come to us. Kasi I told you, I give free 30-minute advice. How you can maximize that is by then, bago kayo tumawag, ready na yung mga paperwork nyo. Ready na sabihin, Dana, ito yung assets and liabilities namin. What do you think? What do you think will be within the reasonable spectrum of awards in this? So, just a piece of advice para sa mga kababayan natin, when you're dealing with it, you have to do your financial disclosures.
So, both parties yan, attorney, you'll have to disclose
Both
everything,
parties,
no?
yeah.
Oo.
Both parties would have to do their financial. Kasi hindi mo naman alam yung lahat ng partner mo. Kung minsan sasabihin nila yung ano, then you can blame the lawyer. Sabihin mo, partner mo, bakit hindi, you don't trust me? Sabi ni Dana, Dana doesn't trust you, not me. So that's how we become the bad cop. I said blame me. Don't say it's you who doesn't trust them with their word. Just say the lawyers need to look at the papers. So you can blame me. And ano ito kaliwaan po to, Mr. Laragan. So pag what we
Kaliwaan ng listahan ng assets? Ganyan?
kaliwaan po. Exactly. We actually do that na we would, kung kaming lawyers, we would say, exchange tayo ng alas 12, ha? Alas 12, talagang piping namin kaliwaan yan para walang sisilip ng mas maaga sa assets, sa disclosures ng kabila. You can do that. You can say, meet tayo, dinner tayo sa kitchen table, bring your documents, I'll bring mine. So you can mimic that process. And you say, ito yung ano ko, ha? And you can exchange that, and you can bring, so may copy ka na sa'yo, make sure you have a copy of your own disclosures. And you can get a copy of their disclosures. And then you can go to the lawyer and say, here you go. Ito yung asset and liabilities. Ito yung disclosure namin dalawa. What do you think? What do you think? Anong gagawin ng korte dito kung i-apply niyo yung Section 25 factors? So that saves a lot of time. Kasi pag tumawag sa akin, sasabihin ko, magkano yung bahay? Magkano yung mortgage mo? Magkano yung ganito? And from my experience, the most efficient cases that I worked in is by the time they come to me, may Excel spreadsheet na sila or meron na silang set of papers. Minsan kung simple lang naman yung asset and yung asset and liability, di madali lang na. So, ito yung bahay, ito yung mortgage redemption, and ito yung income namin. So that would really help you save the time and maximize nyo yung free 30-minute consultation.
Attorney, for example, nag-usapan natin, nabanggit mo kay Heather Mills at saka kay di ba? Kay Paul McCartney.
Heather Mills, yeah, Paul McCartney.
Magkano ba nakuha niyo? Close to...
It's one of the most, it's quite well-known case sa law po.
Kasi, she was asking for 125 million. It ended up, she got about 24.5 million, something like that, no?
Absolutely.
$600,000 pounds a year. That amounts to 50,000 pounds a month, no? na
Yep,
money niya every year,
absolutely.
no? Plus 2.5
And
to buy a property, a house in
exactly,
London.
exactly. And you're right. You actually were going through the Section 25 factors when you were saying that. Because you mentioned to buy a property, that's housing needs. You mentioned, oh, bakit ganito yung yearly na binibigay sa kanya? Because that was the standard of living.
Mhm.
And then you mentioned yung length ng marriage wasn't quite, I can't remember, but it wasn't very long.
Mhm.
And there was
They were
no
married in
other
2008
restriction.
yata. 2008. So when
Yeah,
was it when they divorced?
2013, was it 2000, a 4 year
Oo,
marriage
so
or
ganun
three,
lang, no?
4 year
Oo.
marriage? 3, 4 year marriage. However, she was saying, this is, and sinasabi reasonable needs. Once reasonable needs are met, and reasonable needs is not, it's a subjective. Yun ang, minsan parang reasonable needs, 2.5 million talaga reasonable needs with the flavor ng standard of living nila. So, in this case, the reasonable needs ng family na yun was that. And sometimes it means, oh, property because they were used to that standard of living. One of the one of the legal principle na talagang kilala yung case nito is the case of special contribution. Because Heather Mills was saying 125 million, I'm entitled to that because I think what they said is throughout that period, yun yung inern, they were running the argument that if the assets accrued that much during the period of the marriage. What Paul McCartney's side said, actually, no, in this case, this is a case, this is one of those rare cases where the contribution was so tremendous, extraordinary, that it's an elephant in the room that you cannot ignore. That it's that case now. It's not just about one party sacrificing to go out and earn for the family. This is a special talent, and we should not ignore that. We should not ignore the fact that he was already a well settled musician before that. Those assets that he accrued before the marriage was actually springboarded ng success niya. Successful na siya bago siya pumunta dun sa marriage na yun eh. He already had a tremendous career before that. So it's not as if yung marriage na yun, dun lang siya naging successful. He was successful way before that marriage. And by that time he got to that marriage, he was already an extraordinary talent. And that cannot be ignored. So that was a case of special contribution. And the court reflected that. And sabi nila, we're not going to change. The principle of 50-50 is there. However, we're going to move that completely to the other side because of this special contribution. And kahit hindi 50-50 yung nabigay natin kay Heather Mills, we still were able to do her reasonable needs according to the standard of living. Her housing needs are met. They look at her income capacity as well and her resources. And she was a young person, I think, Mr. Laragan. She has time to
40
retrain,
something
to
yata, no?
have
40?
40 something. So from the point of view,
Yeah.
she has 20 odd years of being able to retrain herself, find another career, and build up a pension if she wants to. But with this portfolio, or yung portfolio niya na yun, it can make money and it can pay for a pension. But that's the reason why they did not give her the 125 million. It was a case of a special contribution because of an extraordinary talent that cannot be ignored. So that's the Paul McCartney case.
Ayun, oo. Well, okay. So we're gonna have a short break, attorney. Mag-break muna tayo at pagbalik natin, kung may mga few questions tayo dyan, no? Mga kaibigan, kung may mga questions ho kayo, pagbalik ho natin, i-entertain ho natin, no? Huwag ho kayong aalis, saglit po lamang.
During these trying times, we salute the frontliners who are tirelessly caring for all of us against the COVID-19. To all the courageous nurses, doctors, carers, and paramedics at the NHS, words are not enough to thank you. We at Highlight Express International are here to support you back with a full semester 10% discount when you send your Balikbayan boxes to your family in the Philippines. Dahil ang Highlight Express International ay para sa pamilya.
May problema ka ba sa landlord mo? Baka evict ka na ni kuya. May problema sa mga kapitbahay, sa trabaho. O kaya naman kay mister o kay misis. Away tungkol sa mana, mga may utang, mga aksidente, daing o laban sa ospital or sa NHS. Harassment? O baka naman may stalker ka na gusto mong ireklamo. Punta na sa Divi Solicitors para matulungan ka pagdating sa mga litigations at iba pang mga legal concerns. Divi Solicitors at 2nd floor, Howard House, St. John Street, Bedford, MK42 0DJ. Tumawag sa 01234-350-244 or 01234-225-188 o kaya naman mag-email sa d.quinto@dvsolicitors.com. Visit our website at www.dvsolicitors.com.
Okay, tuloy-tuloy tayo sa ating program. 2002 pa lang nag-asawa si, si Heather Mills. No? They
Yeah.
met in 1999 at an awards night, awards ceremony. And then he proposed in 2001, got married in 2002. Pero yung mga situation halimbawa ng mga kababayan natin, I'm sure, alam naman natin, some of our kababayans, wait, teka muna, batiin ko lang, sila Bing Ocampo, doon kayo nanonood sa, sa Pinoy Radio UK, magandang gabi sa inyo. Lipat ho kayo rin sa Filipino TV Europe para ma-flash natin, Para ma-flash natin. Si Ma'am Cora Carsola, din nanonood. Lipat ho kayo sa Filipino TV Europe ho. Dito ho tayo. Ito ang tahanan ho natin for messages, at saka, yes, Bing, sila Ma'am Carsola, they share it, So thank you doon sa mga nag-share. Paki-share lang. Para nang sa ganun ay malaman ng ating mga kababayan dito sa United Kingdom, mas maraming makaalam na meron ho tayong programang katulad dito na Legal Advice Corner. So, which happens every Happy Tuesday. Ayan. Okay, may mga pagbati lang dito, Attorney, pagbati lang muna. Ito si Mark Vidal Natal, mukhang ito, one of our new, recent viewer natin itong nagpaparamdam, Sabi niya, si Mark Vidal Natal, good evening po. Ayan, mabuhay. Ma'am Cora Carsola, dito ho kayo sa Filipino TV Europe. At saka si Bing, si Heidi Mababa, Dito kayo para mas mabilis.
Lipat na po tayo.
Lipat po kayo. Ayan, lipat kayo.
po tayo.
Edgar, si Edgar, ayan, lumitaw na si Edgar. Sabi niya, magandang gabi.
Yeah.
Ang kagandahan nila, Edgar, they watch our program on the big screen, So, mabuhay ka, Edgar, Sa big screen. Sabi niya, magandang gabi, Attorney DQ and Legendary SL. At sa mga taguyod ng palatuntunang Legal Corner, mga ka-tiny bubbles, mabuhay. Kayo, happy Choose DQ. Okay, Choose DQ.
Galing.
Alright.
Galing, Edgar. Magandang gabi, Edgar.
Mabuhay kay Edgar. Good evening, Sir Sunny, Attorney Dana from Richie Borse. May tanong si Edgar. Kunwari lang, maghihiwalay na kami ni Irene kasi may kabit ako. Ayan. Tapos yung mistress na mababasa mo, Attorney? Na soon, papakasalan ko. Teka muna, paano papakasalan ko ay milyonarya?
Yep.
Makaka-apekto ba yon sa Declaration of Assets?
Correct.
Papakasal ako sa mayaman kasi para marami akong pangbili ng baril. Laughing out loud, Ayan. Okay.
Yes. Ang answer, straightforward answer is yes, Edgar. So two things that are very, very important and sa binigay na example na Edgar is papakasalan niya na. So it's not just the girlfriend niya lang, but actually it's looking like a serious relationship. is looking like it's going to be a long-term relationship, cohabitation at long-term relationship. Tatanong mo, saan papasok yan sa Section 25 factors mo, Dana? So we remember, sinabi natin, current resources as well as future resources. And future living expenses needs, future income needs. So, pag titingnan mo yan, one would argue na ang resources ni Edgar, yung access niya to resources, pag napakasalan niya na yung milyonaryo niyang mistress, is lalaki. You know, that naturally and reasonably expected na lalaki. Also, you can say na, milyonaryo yan, it's expected you will be cohabiting together sa one of mansion o manor estate ni ladyship Duay. So that might be one of the arguments that the lawyer of Irene would say na Edgar would actually have lower konti na lang ang kailangan ni Edgar from the matrimonial path dahil pupunta siya doon sa isang other household na may resources na. So yes, that would affect very much the division of assets.
Teka muna. Ibig sabihin, di ba, ang initial parang starting point is 50-50. Di ba?
Correct.
Ang sinasabi mo pa, parang dahil magkakaroon ng kabit, yung mapapangasawa niya na siguro eventually, dahil ihiwalayan niya di umano si Irene. So, kunyari, kung may properties lang, let's say, house and everything worth, for example, let's just say 2 million. Ibig sabihin mo, kukuha na mas malaking share si Irene dahil do sa future assets, future status financial status ni Edgar, lalaki. Ganun ba yun?
Potentially, yes, there is an argument for that. That would depend on how imminent yung kasal na to, how serious this relationship is. Kung sasabihin ko, actually, nakabook na yung wedding nila, talagang serious yung relationship na to. So you can potentially say na, this is it. This is the resources of Edgar. Her resources, the new wife, the resources of the new wife will likely be included in Edgar's future resources. And that's the reason why, hanggat hindi pa naayos ang kanilang mga finances, a lot of people really don't enter into serious commitments. Yes.
So ang suggestion natin dito from Mr. Attorney Sunny Laragan, hiwalayan mo na muna si Irene Duay kung talaga may intention ka kay Mrs. kay Lady, gagawin mo ng Lady Duay yon. So parang ano yan, parang bakit attorney, sinasama ba yan? Hinahabol ba yung assets ng girlfriend, assets ng would-be next partner? Kailangan ba, bakit, anong pakialam ng...
Because of that Section 25 factor, because of, alam mo dun sa sinasabi kong yung asset and liabilities, Mr. Laragan, yung i-attach mo dun sa, alam mo kung isa sa tanong dun, are you planning to cohabit and marry in the imminent future? Are you planning to cohabit and marry?
So if Edgar lied, for example, pwedeng habulin ni Irene. Kunyari, nag-lie siya. Actually, kaya nagdi-divorce si Edgar dahil meron siyang perspective na mayaman na di ba? Makakabili siya ng marami, hindi lang baril siguro, pati tangke. Pwede niya bilhin, di ba? So,
absolutely.
So, yun, parang, dito, ang gagawin dapat pala, yung question na yun pala, ngayon ko lang na-realize yan, meron palang ganung question na yun. Kung ganun pala...
D81, I'll tell you which form it is. It's called Form D81. D81. Lahat ng settlement consent order, we call settlement sa divorce is a consent order. So gusto mong ipa-seal sa judge yun kasi clean break, di ba? Ayaw mo na talagang balikan ka, ever, clean break. Ang rule doon, pag gagawin mo yun, you have to submit it with Form D81, which it's a very simple, may table lang doon, asset, liabilities, income, pension. And then there's a question there, do you plan to cohabit or marry in the immediate future?
Okay. So ayan napakinggan nyo kay attorney, kailangan importante yon. Kung may masama kayong intensyon o kaya gusto nyong iwanan na yung partner nyo.
Pwede kayong mahagip, matatanong po yan. At pag nalaman na nag-live-in na kayo ng bago nyong sweetheart, ay sasabihin ng abogado sa kabila na part na yan ng resources mo at bababa na yung kailangan mo na sa at dahil your housing needs, meron ka ng kahati dun sa housing living expenses nyo because you're cohabiting, lalo na kung milyonaryo yan. So
Ayun.
that's
So,
a very very good point by Edgar actually.
Maganda pala, nakapanood kayo ng Legal Advice Corners na meron na kayong idea, no? Don't go into a cohabiting status or state with your whoever it is, no, while you're undergoing a divorce. Para nang sa ganun, makuha mo yung tamang hatian sa iyong
Attorney Laragan
ninyo.
yan, no?
From Attorney Sunny Laragan ho yun. Yan, ina-advise ko kay Edgar Duay, no? Future millionaire. Okay. Attorney, may question tayo rito. No? Ito, simple lang siguro to. From Ana S, no? Sabi niya, nahuli ko yung asawa ko na niloloko pala ako at matagal na. Ano po ang dapat kong gawin kung gusto ko siyang i-divorce? Magastos po ba?
As I've said, tatlo yung divorce. Kung gusto mo lang yung pangalawang coupon ban, yung talagang di-divorce lang on paper, hindi po magastos at hindi po komplikado yon actually. It doesn't matter kung nanloko ba yung asawa mo o talagang you fell out of love at talagang sabi niyo it's not working, we're not happy, we reach irretrievable breakdown of marriage. All you need to do is fill up the divorce petition. At, what we do as lawyers is put the draft in, fill up mo yun, and then your marriage certificate, they will ask for your original marriage certificate, and you would have to pick one of the facts na magsusupport dun sa ground na irretrievable na yung breakdown ng marriage mo. And in this case, I've explained this in the past, kahit niloko or may adultery, kasi mahirap maghanap ng ebidensya, we put it under unreasonable behavior. So we put it there, and we normally send it to the other side. Kasi by that time, you would have your direct conversation dun sa asawa mo. No? Talagang magdi-divorce na tayo, sasabihin ko na kay Dana, send yung divorce petition sa'yo. So you would send it to the other side and say, look, we have to give the court a reason. And the fact is, ito yung reason. You may not agree to it, but at the end of the day, the marriage has broken down. And all they need to say is, okay, fine, I'll acknowledge it. The court fee is £550. You can inquire kung ano yung fixed fee. I'll be able to give you a fixed fee for the actual process of getting divorced. Hindi po siya as expensive or as complicated as people think it is. It's not a complicated process at all. Amongst dun sa tatlo na concerns, ito yung pinakasimple. Where it gets very expensive is pag nag-away na po kayo sa pera or dun sa custody ng batas. But those are two other separate issues. Yung magdi-divorce na po, it's not expensive at all. So, do reach out, or may mga guidance then online if you want to do it online. It's not a complicated process at all. But do reach out kasi, as I've said, we give out guidance as well kasi hindi po talaga siya. It's not as complicated. Unlike sa atin, I don't know a lot about, I'm not here to give a guidance on Philippine law, but what I've heard is sobrang hirap daw yung annulment sa Philippine law. It is very different here. A divorce procedure is very, very different here.
Okay. May follow-up si Edgar na question. Ito, interesting to, no? Dahil, malaman natin kung ano yung sagot mo rito, no, attorney? Okay. Sabi ni Edgar, follow-up na tanong, kung after a month or two of separation of divorce na, sabihin natin, di separation, divorce na. Let's say natapos na yung divorce, okay? Kasi kung bigla akong nanalo sa Euro Millions, counted ba yon sa assets ko kapag hatian, para paghatian o kaya palagi hindi habulin, parang habulin pa? At pwede pa bang at palabasin na si mistress ang nanalo at di akin yun? Will I be liable? Posibleng senaryo lang po ito. Ang iniisip ko more of
I wouldn't say liable siya kasi hindi ka nagsinungaling. Hindi ka nagsinungaling dun sa sa Form E, yung tawag yung disclosure mo. Hindi mo naman alam kung mananalo ka sa sweepstakes 2 months from now, di ba? na you would have
So
this
hindi pwedeng
windfall.
habulin. During the
Hindi-
during the pendency of the proceedings ng divorce o naging
divorce
divorce kayo,
na tayo, diba?
nanalo ka,
Yes.
pasok 'yun.
Pasok po yun. Pasok
Pero
po
let's say
yun.
tapos
Pasok
na,
panalo
may
ka.
ano ba yung final divorce, ano ba yung pag final na?
Decree absolute.
Decree absolute. Di, tapos na.
absolute. Or kung ang sa finances po is kung may consent order na kayo, may sealed consent order na kayo.
So yun ang final na, parang sarado na 'yon.
Yun ang final po.
So,
When you
mana-
get clean break. When you get a clean break.
Oo.
When you get a clean break order. However, I'll tell you honestly, na sasabihin ko, meron kasing isang, we call it a barter event. Yun yung legal principle. The barter event is yung isang event na so, quite extraordinary that it changed the landscape of the law, that it could render that particular decision or consent order as a miscarriage of justice. So may possibility, may door to open, especially kung sobrang bilis, so like 2 months lang. If tactically, kung ako si Irene, I would apply for a barter event na review. So sabihin ko, it changed completely. What Edgar's lawyer will say is, tapos na yung procedure, may clean break na tayo, divorce na tayo, it's definitely a post-separation accrual, but it could potentially be a barter event. If nangyari yan na divorce proceedings pa, and hindi pa kayo tapos, pasok talaga yan. For sure, pasok yan sa disclosure mo. If after ng consent order, if after ng decree absolute, if after ng consent order, ng clean break order, it depends on the circumstances of the case. Kasi kung sobrang lapit, it could potentially open up to yung tawag na barter event review. So it may, but what will likely to happen is there will be a slight, mas malaki yung ano ni Edgar dahil hindi siya nagsinungaling, hindi niya maalam na mananalo siya eh. Unlike may isang barter event, it's actually one of the well-known companies. I won't say which one. At the time ng final hearing, hindi nila sinabi na initial public offering nila yung company after the divorce, the week after the divorce. So they made the deal. I think the judge gave an order, and then within 2 weeks, nilagay nila sa initial public offering yung company na yun, and the shares just went absolutely skyrocketed. So biglang yumaman yung isang partido. And the other party said, hindi mo sinabi to, you didn't say about this, and it changed completely the matter of the case. So doon, nasa backfooting yung tao na biglang yumaman at hindi nagsabi ng full disclosure. With this one, if it creates a significant miscarriage of justice, it could give an empathetic judge. An empathetic judge might say, look, it isn't it's a change of circumstance, but hindi ganun ka sure win. But I just want to say about the barter event principle.
You keep mentioning that the barter, siguro 6 or 7 times mo mention. How do you spell it?
It's a case. It's the name of the case.
Name of a
Barter.
case. Oh, name of a case.
Name of
Okay,
the
barter
case.
barter, B-A-R-D-E-R.
B-A-R-D-E-R, barter.
So yun ang case na ano. Okay.
Yun yung tawag namin, yun yung legal
That's how you call it,
principle
barter
namin,
case. All right.
Barter event. So, kung
Oo.
sobra talagang nag-change ng landscape after a deal had begun or after a court order, meron kang actually backdoor to say to the court, hang on a minute, can you review this please? Dahil this is absolutely a miscarriage of justice. So, there is always, hindi lang sa sweepstakes, there will be a slight door to open to review those cases.
Halimbawa, like for example, let's say nanalo si Edgar, no, for 2 months after, no. Sisimplihan na lang niya siguro. Malalaman ba yan? Ang burden of proof or yung burden of showing na merong asset si Edgar would be borne by Irene, di ba? Si Irene ang merong responsibility niyan. Kung simplihan ni Edgar, halimbawa, simplihan lang yan, okay, bigay niya sa pinsan niya o bigay niya sa kapatid niya, ikaw na kunyari mag-claim, ikaw nanalo ng Euro Millions. Pero meron tayong usapan, ha, na akin talaga yan, ha, ganon, no? Kung
I
hindi
would
malalaman,
never ever advise client
to do that.
Circumvent.
Oo.
Mas pag nahuli ka, pag
Mm.
nahuli ka doon, mas problema. I'd say that.
Ayun, okay. Oo
I
nga.
guess what I would say is do a
Oo.
deal. Kung instead of paying the lawyers, do a deal. Instead of defending it, do a deal. Kasi, at the end of the day, nanay pa rin yan ng nanay o tatay pa rin yan ng mga anak mo eh. You'd always have something. You will always see them at some point in your life. And you would never ever have a complete disentanglement on them.
Ayun.
So, kung hindi ka titirahin dyan, baka tirahin ka via the children matter. Lalo na kung minor yung mga children. And alam na yung asset mo is way more than the usual. So, they can still apply on that basis. On the basis na this is we call it the big money case. And iba yung jurisdiction. Sabihin mo, mas malaki yung income, may malaking asset dito. We could potentially have a different application sa children matter.
Yan ba, for
the
example,
children, not for Irene. For the children, not for Irene.
pero yan, okay, if you finally, after the divorce, you found out that, probably may winnings. I don't know kung if you apply the barter thing, siguro, maaring, how do you call this, something, while the divorce was ongoing, pero nag-materialize siya nung after nung yung kamukha nung sa barter case ba yung one day
Yung kamukha dun sa company, which is quite well known, na ongoing pala, pinre-prepare pala for initial public offering ng company habang hinintay lang na mag-deal, saka nila go ahead. Talagang binalik talaga yun. The court will say, you were trying to circumvent, you were trying to subvert the discretion of the court.
Pero for example,
disclosure.
say nanalo na 50,000 pounds si Edgar, yung ba ang hahabulin ni Irene doon? Half of it or parang percentage lang?
It depends. It depends on the court kung ano yung weight na ilalagay nila doon.
Okay. So depende pa rin.
Does
Okay.
it change completely the landscape? Kasi baka hindi naman na-change completely yung landscape, 50,000. And sinabi ng court, kahit ibalik mo yan, ano pa rin si Edgar, kumbaga yung last na deal, even if you do that, Edgar would still have to pay tax on that. We don't know. So, hindi ibig sabihin yan na 50% agad. There's not, as I've said, walang calculator yung Section 25 factors.
Okay.
It depends on the judge kung ano yung weight na ilalagay nila sa isang factor. One judge might say, malaki yung weight niyan. Another judge might say, not so much. Kasi may discretion sila within a reasonable spectrum. So, the 50,000 may or may not change the whole landscape of the case. The court may say, well, it doesn't really change the landscape of the case much.
Okay. All right. May question tayo dito, Attorney Dana. Okay. From Lydia R, no? Sabi niya, hi, Attorney Dana, yung nanay ko medyo nagiging ulyanin na at natatakot po akong lumala na ito. Kung maging ulyanin na po siya, pwede ko po bang magalaw o magamit ang hawak niyang pera para magamit sa mga pangangailangan niya? Kailangan po ba na kumuha ng power of attorney? Maganda po ang intensyon ko para sa kapakanan po ng nanay ko. O nga naman, baka kala naman.
Thank you, Lydia, sa pag-clarify ng intention.
Oo nga, oo. So, parang maganda naman intention niya. Okay. Pasiguro parang naulyanin na, baka may pera, may asset siguro nanay nito sa Lydia. Siguro, na ano na mangyayari siguro ngayon siguro, no? Parang ganun siguro.
Lydia, yes, tama yung hinala mo. That is lasting power of attorney on finances and health. So, Lydia, hindi lang yung finances yung kailangan mong tingnan. Also, a lasting power of attorney concerning health para you can make decisions on behalf of your mother. So it's not litigation and family area. It's actually sa wills and probate na area. But yes, you're on the right track. Tama yung kuha ka lang lasting power of attorney for finances as well as health. So you can deal with your mother's finances, but you have to deal, you're absolutely right about that, you have to deal with it for her best interest.
Ano tawag doon? How do you call it? Attorney? Bakit lasting? There's a power of attorney and then there's a lasting power of attorney?
And then, term lang po dito yun. Term lang po sa UK yun. That's the
Term lang dito.
That's
Pero
the
it's a
proper
power of
term.
attorney.
It's a power of attorney, but it's a formal term dito sa UK.
Formal term dito is lasting power of attorney.
LPA, yeah. LPA po yung term namin dito. Lasting power.
Kamukha niya halimbawa, 2 at 3 magkakapatid. Pwede bang meron bang nadinig ka na nag-aaway ng magkakapatid? No, ay ako kailangan ang lasting power of attorney, is it granted or given to an individual?
I think pwede kang dalawa. I have to double check. I think you can
okay.
have 2. I think you can. I have to double check that. Not my specialization. But I dealt with yung away pag nag-aaway na sila.
Pag nag-aaway, okay.
Yung pag-aaway. Sasabihin, yung isang kapatid ko hindi naman ginamit sa best interest ng magulang namin yung power niya na yun, yung pera na yun, di naman napunta dun sa nanay o tatay namin. So that's when we get involved na litigation lawyers.
Ayun. Okay. All right. We have some greetings dito, no? Ito hindi ko ito may mga pagbati lang tayo rito, no? Magandang gabi. Sabi niya sino ba to? Jean yata si Jean, no? Jean ayan, Jean ano yan? Jean
Angeles.
Janela, Jean Angeles Abad. Oh, yes. May sinabi siya sa akin kung ano yung pangalan niya nung nakaraan eh. Kasi haba-haba ng pangalan niya, no? Jean Janela Angeles Abad. Parang may binanggit siya before kung Jean or Janela. O, taga-saan ka nga pala? Jean Janela Angeles Abad. Magandang gabi, attorney na talagang ATORNI, no? Attorney and Kuya Sally. Magandang gabi, no? Good evening. And, of course, our very good friend, si Kamar, no? Kamar is here with us.
Good evening.
Mr. Raman, Kamar, no? Good evening.
Happy
Tuesday
Thank
to
you.
everyone. Great show, guys. But, I love
Thank you
looking
so
at his post, all positive thoughts, Napakaganda. Very good. Which is very good to start the day, no? So, Kamar, saludo tayo. We salute you, no? Edgar Duay says, hello and good evening, Mr. Ramon. Mr. Raman. We love you. Wow, we love your words of wisdom. Tama nga naman. That's good. Mr. Ramon, Raman, Kamar, Reman.
Nabinyagan ng Pilipinong pangalan.
Pero batang-bata siya. I saw his recent post, no? With Baba, something, I forgot. It looks very young, He was very young. Guapo in Spanish for pogi or good-looking, no? Guapito, guapo.
Quite young.
Bata-bata. No? You saw that picture? Who's that? His mentor?
I saw that the other day.
Is it, what's the name? Baba Raban or something?
Yeah, hindi ko kilala yun.
It's his mentor, my mentor, the mentor.
The mentor, yeah.
The mentor. So, yeah.
Very good.
Mr. Raman, thank you, Kamar, good evening to
Mr.
you.
Ramon,
And,
Mr. Ramon.
Mr. Ramon, well, Edgar calls you Mr. Ramon. Ayun, oo. Well, mabuhay, napakaganda ng, yan, yung mga words of wisdom niya. You can check him out, mga kaibigan.
Yep.
Guys, si Kamar. He's the founding partner of Dana's company, DV Solicitors,
Yes.
Kung meron ho kayong mga
Solicitor,
problema,
Tali.
ayan, may mga problema kayong mga legals, Ayan, so if you need a lawyer, teka muna, how do they contact you nga pala, attorney? Ayan.
Yep, there we are. d.quinto@dvsolicitors.com po. And the office number is 01234225188. So, email or telephone, pag hindi we can find a mutually suitable time kung kailan wala po kayo sa trabaho, and we can call you to have a chat.
Ayan, okay. All right, yan. Ayan. Mahabol pa si Edgar. Sabi ni Edgar, ano ba ito? Edgar? may message siya. Dahil tuwa-tuwa siya. Si Kamar is there, no? So he messaged Ramon because on his first guesting, he mentioned that Filipino is adopted him. And we should have a Filipino same. So I gave him the name Ramon. Okay.
Ramon is good. Ramon is
Yes,
Tagalog
Ramon.
na Tagalog.
Pero Ramon
Pinoy
is
na Pinoy.
yung Ramon first name niya, no? Pero ang surname niya Reman, no? Kamar is his
Ramon
first name.
Ramon.
Kamar.
Ramon Ramon.
Ramon Reman. Ikaw talaga, Edgar. Kaya natutuwa si si Attorney Kamar Reman, no? He likes you, no? That's why, no, Edgar.
Yeah, nakakatawa naman talaga
Nakakatuwa
si Edgar.
naman si Edgar. Oo.
Nakakatawa naman talaga
Nakakatuwa
si
yan.
Edgar.
So,
Sobrang
mabuhay.
supportive. Audience participation.
Okay. I think he even watches us on a big screen, eh. So, lagi niyang pinapakita sa atin yan, no? Because he can watch this on YouTube or... In fact, you can also watch this, maski yung Facebook Live. You can watch it if you have Google Chrome. No? You can just send it, cast it, no? You watch it on your laptop. Pwede. And then you cast it, no? Merong parang sa upper right-hand corner ng Google.
Casting? Ano po ba yung casting na yan? Sorry.
Parang
Ano
yung cast, parang isinesend mo, you're casting it, you're sending it. Di ba? Parang cast your net, di ba? Parang itatapo mo yung net mo ganun
Parang
cast to.
broadcast.
Broadcast, no? Parang ganyan. So, yeah, it's on Google Chrome, no? Pagka meron kang Google Chrome sa television mo, kinabit mo, go to the site, for example, kung Facebook ngayon, and then you click on, sa upper right-hand corner, may mga parang, may drop-down, yun eh. And one of them would be cast, C-A-S-T, no? Yung cast, no? Ayun, and then you can cast it, choose your device. Kaya ganun na ginagawa ni Edgar, eh. So, mabuhay, Edgar, ha? Mabuhay yan.
Mabuhay ka,
That's
Edgar.
good. Mabuhay si Edgar.
And Alex and Irene, si Alex na anak niya na nanonood din parating nanonood. Thank you, Alex, and thank you, Irene.
Okay. Sige, pagbigyan natin ito. May last question siguro para kay Edgar.
Go.
Sige. Okay. Edgar says,
Another
another question during the S25. Can I say I don't agree on 50-50 split because she cheated on me and I want my children to have more and 20% lang kay Irene. Can I ask my lawyer that? Pwede ata, di ba yung well, depende sa di ba yung you start with the 50.
There's two reasons.
Pero do you talk about the share of the children right away? Hindi naman yata, di ba? It's more of you guys, no?
Exactly. That's the first reason.
Sige,
This is not
okay.
a division between. The first reason is not. This is a division between you and your spouse. This is not a division between you, the spouse, and the children. So as much as we love the children, they will be a part of it in terms of providing an accommodation for them, providing a house for them, but they're not considered. They don't have a separate share. So that's the first reason. The second reason is cheating is not a weighty factor. It's not a material factor na magmo-move ng percentage. That's not it. So that isa yan sa mga unang-unang kinaklarify ko sa mga not just kababayan natin but normal divorce client cases. So it doesn't affect the division of labor, the division of assets.
Well, in the case of Paul McCartney, how do you pronounce it? Beatrice, no? Si B, dito kasi B, no? Si B got 35,000 pounds a year, while the mom got 600,000 pounds a year, no? Depende on the, sabi mo, yung parang, ano yung sabi mo kanina? Lifestyle? Standard of living. Standard of living, oo.
Standard of living, correct.
Ayan.
Yun.
Okay, so dito yata ang adultery, kunyari mga ganung situations, it doesn't bear weight, no? Ibig sabihin hindi
Doesn't bear weight.
Porque yung isa yung parang nag-commit na adultery or whatever, concubinage or whatever, na you have a bigger bargaining position over that person. Hindi, no? Walang ganun, di ba? Oy, teka muna, nanloko ka, nahuli kita, ha? O sige, teka muna, mas malaki ang share ko. Kailangan, from 50-50, dali natin sa 60-40 o 70-30. Hindi pa pwede. Hindi pa pwede.
Irrelevant.
Sa Pilipinas pa pwede siguro yan, pero dito
Sa
hindi pa pwede.
Pilipinas ata pwede. Sa Pilipinas.
Pwede yan, kasi may adultery
Irrelevant
no?
dito. Straightforward.
Ayun.
Very
Hindi
straightforward
kaya,
answer.
Edgar, wag mo isipin yan, ha? Maski ano lang to, joke lang, ha? Never ever think of that. Napaka-sweet ni Irene, di ba? Imagine mo yun.
Oh, very nice. Irene,
Oo.
hi Irene. Birthday ata ni Mother's Day or birthday ba ni Irene? Mother's Day.
Oh, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers now out there, with the likes of Irene, sila pa ba sila Darmin, ayan, at marami pang iba, no? Mabuhay
Yeah,
kayo.
wag mo isipin yan, Edgar. Mabait si Irene.
Oo nga. Yes. Oh yeah, kung may mga questions so kayo, well, message ka sa akin yung mga questions. And so, yeah, don't hesitate, no? Siguro, attorney, gagawin ko, i-advance ko some of the questions, padala ko na sa advance, no? Para na sa ganun makita mo rin, o para maiano natin. We could discuss this dito sa ating programa.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess it's magpaalam na tayo siguro. Ayan, just covering possible questions base sa topic. Tama ngayon. Very good. Ay, alam mo si Edgar, yan ang ating number one rara boy, yung talaga kumbaga anywhere he goes, he would tell them, hey, doon kayo, manood kayo kung kailangan niyo ng problema sa si Attorney Dana Quinto, si Attorney Lira, so ayan, ganun ang ginagawa niya.
Thank you, Edgar. Maraming salamat
Tama naman
sa'yo,
yan.
Edgar.
Mabuhay kay Edgar,
so-
mabuhay. Uy, ayoko muna magsalita, baka abangan nyo meron, tingnan natin, hindi ko pa sabihin, surprise, mas mabuti surprise, di ba? Pag andyan na,
Surprise!
ituloy natin. Ano yun? May tanong dito, ano ba ito? Mark, parang bitin ang tanong mo, parang ano yata. Ano sabi ni Mark, paano pag di kasal dito?
Pag di kasal dito?
Ay, yung paghahatian mo? Paano po ang hatian? O yan, sige, attorney, bago siya makatulog para teka muna, Mark, taga saan ka? Sabihin mo kung taga saan ka uli para at least alam namin. So, paano pag hindi kasal? Pag pag living in, ganon? Nag-live in, ganon? O you're cohabiting?
Pag cohabiting, hindi po, iba po yung Mark, pag cohabiting at hindi kasal, completely iba yung yung law na mag-a-apply, hindi divorce law kasi hindi kayo kasal. Pag yung tanong mo ay kasal sa ibang bansa, but you're here in the UK, dito yung habitual resident kayo dito, kung may jurisdiction, it's gonna be a question of jurisdiction. Kung under pa rin kayo, pwede kayong maging under sa UK law kahit hindi kayo kasal dito. And actually, some very, very wealthy spouses from foreign countries come here dahil ang UK law ay isa sa pinaka-advantageous na divorce court for lower earning spouses. So it is possible na dalhin mo dito yung divorce mo, but it is actually may mga procedural obstacles, challenges. It may be a bit more expensive dahil kailangan mong i-serve out of jurisdiction yung papers. But it is possible, kahit hindi ka kasal sa UK, na pwede kayong may jurisdiction dito kung habitual resident kayo dito sa UK. So it's a slightly complicated area of law, but the straightforward answer is that may mga taga-ibang lugar na pumupunta dito or nag-establish ng jurisdiction dito to take, I wouldn't say advantage, but to have that English law application sa kanila dahil very favorable ang English law sa lower earning spouses. That's a well-known fact.
Ano yun? Lower earning spouse? Paano, hindi ko naintindihan, attorney. Parang lower earning spouse, ano ibig sabihin?
Put it this way, Mr. Lalagan. Sa Middle East, kung lower earning spouse ka, mas mababa yung makukuha mo. Kasi I just think, hindi ko I don't practice.
Middle East na Pinoy, nakapangasawa kunyari na Arabo? O pareho kayong Arabo na mag-asawang Arabo, pupunta rito, ganun?
Not necessarily Pinoy. May mga Arabo na pumupunta sa UK, very wealthy, na mga wife, pupunta sa UK to seize the jurisdiction. Mauna sila sa jurisdiction ng UK. Kasi pag nagstay sila sa jurisdiction sa Middle East, they would have a lower na award in terms of percentage. So maybe they can only get, hypothetically, they can only get 50-50 sa ibang jurisdiction nila. So what they do is they establish jurisdiction kasi yung mga wealthy na to papunta pa roon sa mga iba't ibang lugar. So sometimes they spend quite a bit of time in the UK and quite a bit of time in the Middle East. And they're married in the Middle East, but they're yung global citizens sila. So they would actually, pupunta sila sa lawyer. So, sasabihin ng lawyer, actually, pag nag-start ka ng divorce sa Middle East, 50% lang makukuha mo. If you go here sa UK, you can have a bit more. Dahil yung law sa UK is favorable sa lower earning spouse.
Okay yun.
We
Ngayon ko
call
lang
it
nalaman
foreign
yun, no?
shopping.
Sa
Foreign
pagka
shopping,
nauso
and
na.
it's quite well known sa big money cases.
Really?
It's quite well known sa big money cases.
So,
And,
okay. Kung magkaroon ng divorce sa
the
Pilipinas,
normal-
pwede na gawin ng mga babae yan dito, no?
Yeah,
Diba?
kailangan nila to have a link sa jurisdiction na to. Kailangan nila ng link. So some
What is
of
it?
them,
Traveling here? Ganyan, o? Traveling? Hindi.
habitual resident. You have to be
Habitual?
resident ka. Yung iba kasi, yung mga, ano nito is, they have a house here, they send their children here, they live here 6 months to 7 months of the year, they travel back and forth. This is the profile na travel back and forth here in Middle East, the children are here, they have a house here, they have a house in Geneva, they have a house in Middle East, they have a house everywhere, and then they think, which jurisdiction should I go for to give me the most advantageous legal principle? And nangyayari talaga yan sa big money cases. So
okay.
they start the proceedings. Mag-uunahan sila mag-start ng proceedings. And the spouse, the lower earning spouse, normally babae in those cases, would go to the English court straight away. And that's the reason why marami kang
Kaya pala.
sa newspaper
Kaya pala.
ng mga taga Middle East na mga asawa na nag-umpisa dito sa if you remember a recent case is yung prinsesa ng Dubai.
Aha. Yung prinsesa ng Dubai?
The princess,
Oo, okay.
princess of Dubai.
Parang stepmother nitong...
The youngest wife ng ruler
Current-
ng Dubai.
Current ruler of Dubai,
Yeah.
di ba? Oo.
Current ruler of Dubai has started the custody arrangements here and has started, I think, the financial arrangements as well in the UK.
Okay. So,
May
pwede
strong
pala,
link kasi
pwede pala
ay,
yung
hindi
gano'n,
siya
no?
tawag dito eh. Meron silang link dito. She might have, meron siyang, siguro, she stays here most of the time. And they said, look, if you start there, ganito lang makukuha mo. But if you start the proceedings here, dahil may jurisdiction kayo dito, meron kayong link sa jurisdiction na to, this jurisdiction is more favorable to you. Mas malaki yung makukuha mo. And they do that. They call it forum shopping. Naghahanap sila ng
Kasi kung nasa
jurisdiction.
Dubai siya, talo siya ron. Dahil Dubai turf ng ano niya, di ba? Kung sino
Correct.
yung kakalabanan niya, yung asawa niya. Pero dito, ano tawag dito? Dito maraming mga non-dom eh. Di ba? They don't have to stay more than 6 months para hindi sila taxable dito. Di ba?
That's another issue of
Oo.
tax. But this is more of kung may enough jurisdiction ka, meron kang enough link sa UK to say, yep, I can start the proceedings here. I've seized the jurisdiction.
It happens nga kasi some people will just stay no longer than 6 months in a certain place. So by that, they already have established yung kanilang, sabi mo, di ba, habitual residence dito. So they can be stay here 5 months, out sila 5 months, and it has been established that they're here for a long time, mga 5 months. So okay pala
And
ngayon,
it
bago
really
idea,
happens
forum
in big
shopping, ha?
cases.
Oo,
It
okay
really
yan.
happens in big money
Oh.
cases, and you will hear very, very high-profile divorce cases being started in London.
Ito si Mark Vidal, attorney, hindi daw siya kasal. Partner daw,
okay.
partner po kayo dito pero di kasal kahit saan bansa. Ayun. Di wala, parang simpleng hatian lang. Yan ba kailangan pa ba ng abogado o mag-away na lang sila?
Iba po dito, it's a bit complicated here.
Kasi partner na
Dahil
sila.
nagiging-
O ngayon, siguro, whatever, sa ganyan, may idea ka, attorney, paano ba, pagka ganyan, partner lang, they wanna, ano ba, Mark, ang kailangan nyo, paghatian ba? Paano ba
Walang
hatian? Paano po
formalized
hatian?
dito.
Ha?
Walang common law wife pa dito. You'd really have to go back into property law here. Kung hindi kayo kasal, your fallback is property law.
Property law, which would probably, if you require a lawyer, ganun lang, bale? Doon pag-uusapan na lang.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily?
Well, if you can't agree, you'd have to require a lawyer. So property law means that kailangan nasa titulo ka. Kung wala ka sa titulo, you will have very big challenges to prove na entitled ka dun sa property na yun. Unlike sa matrimonial law, na kahit wala ka sa titulo, basta mag-asawa kayo, it forms part of the matrimonial pot. Dito, pag hindi kayo kasal, kung wala ka sa titulo, you have very high obstacles, very high challenges para sabihin na, ay, nag-ano ko dyan, meron akong contribution dyan. So it's very, very different. It's two different areas of law.
Ano ba paghahatian ninyo? No? Kung ano ba, property ba, pera, ano ba pinaghahatian? Kasi nga, yung sinasabi nga ni attorney, pangalan, kung wala yung pangalan mo ron.
Simple. Yeah,
Oh.
kung pera, it's very simple. Kung nasa kanino yung bangko, it goes there. Kung hindi kayo kasal, it's very simple. Property law, kung nasa kanino yung pera, kung kaninong bank account yan, that money belongs to that person. Kung hindi kayo kasal, that's very simple.
Teka muna, kung nagbibigay siya ng pera, contribution, sweetheart, iipunin mo dyan, nakapangalan dun sa babae, halimbawa, sa
Very, very
sweetheart
hard.
ni, ano,
How to-
ibig sabihin, porke na
how
yung bank
to-
account, nakapangalan dun sa girlfriend niya o sweetheart niya, wala siyang claim dun?
Correct. Very hard to prove. You
Ay,
have
huwag mo
to
nang
prove
gagawin yun,
kasi-
Mark, ano kayo, either joint account kayo, o kaya, ano, no?
Joint account kayo. Exactly. Or cohabitation agreement. Meron tayong tinatawag na
Kasi
cohabitation agreement.
baka malisyoso din kasi mangyari. Kunyari, hindi ko sinasabing malisyoso si no? Si Mark. Halimbawa, going into the relationship, nasilip niya, uy, mukhang maraming pera tong babae na to, ah. O di, sweetheart niya ngayon. Tatawag siya kay Attorney Dana sa show natin. Attorney, paano ba hatian namin? O, di ba? So, ngayon, nalaman mo na, alam mo na ngayon, Mark, no? So, hindi pala po pwede. Kung saan nakakanina yung pangalan, kanina yung bank account, maski nagbigay ka ng pera, hindi mo makaklaim yun.
Pag hindi kayo kasal, binigay mo na yun eh. It was a gift. So, there was
Naku, kawawa ka naman yan, Mark. Sige, magmula ngayon, ano?
Ang normal
alam mo-
na pinag-aawayan dyan, Mr. Laragan, is property.
Sa
So we can
property.
talk about that next week.
Sige, okay lang.
Kung pag-cohabitation because it's so different kung kasal kayo. Very different.
Ayun.
Very,
Okay.
very different.
Ayan. Alright. So, teka muna. Ito mga huling ayan, sabi ni Edgar, of course, Edgar Duway says, salamat sa dagdag kaalaman. Mabuhay ka, Edgar. Sabi ng Virginia Smith, na-late si Virginia. Parang ngayon lang, na-late siya ng pasok niya.
Thank you, Atty.
Oo.
Thank you, Virginia.
Good evening,
Yeah.
Attorney Dana and Kuya Sunny from Essex, no? Virginia Alona says, good luck and God bless. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, maraming
Thank
salamat
you.
sa inyo, no? Thank you very much.
so
Mark Vidal is from Fulham. I think he works in a, parang ano ito, yung mga take-away na business, no? Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, no?
Ang sarap.
So, take-away na, ano ba yung take-away mo nga uli, Mark? No? But anyway, sabi niya, okay. Ano to? Meron pa nagbigay ng information. Sabi ni Virginia Smith, there are 5 types of power of attorney. LPA, what is the best for the parents? Non-durable, durable, special limited, medical, or springing POA. Ano yung springing POA? Okay. Well, next.
Depende siguro sa circumstances nyo. So, consult a wills and probate solicitor. So, wills, yun yung kailangan nyo na abogado, yung wills and probate. But, it depends kung ano yung circumstances, and it depends kung ano yung nangyayari, kung ano yung mangyayari, kung ano yung mga desisyon na kailangan gawin. So, definitely, thank you, Virginia, for saying that. So, yes, consult a lawyer at sabihin nyo kung ano yung potential areas na kailangan desisyonan ng pamilya.
Marami tayong mga Virginias. May Virginia Elona, may Virginia Smith.
Wala ka lang,
Virginia. Mabuhay kayo, mga Virginia, no? So, okay. Naku, ayun, nakakatuwa naman at marami tayong mga kababayan na, nakilahok sa atin, nanood at nagtanong, no? So, thank you very much.
That's right.
Okay, well, it's really indeed a happy Tuesday, no? Pagka ganito, parang we look forward to seeing you, Attorney, dahil weekend, tapos next weekend ka na naman namin makikita, no? So, tapos in between, meron ka na
Pagkatapos ng bakuna ko.
Exactly, meron ka ng bakuna. So, we look forward to your kwento about your bakuna. How was it? Masakit ba? Ano mga side effects mo? We're looking forward. Abangan.
Side
For
effects
next time.
if I'm feeling well.
Oo, kung kung you're feeling well, anong bakuna ang binigay sa no? Dahil sa ngayon we have Astra, we have Pfizer. So far yun yata, no? Moderna naka-order na tayo, naghihintay na lang tayo. Novavax ba yun? Yung parang sa Johnson & Johnson, inaabangan din natin yan, no? Naka-order na rin yata tayo. So hopefully, makita-kita na tayo. Attorney, bago lang ikaw ba, meron ka namang mga leaves of absences, leaves mo sa entire year mo? Kasi iniisip ko ngayon, mo kaya tang busy-busy si attorney dahil hinirang ka, nahirang kang managing partner ngayon. So busy ba? Para bang hindi ka na makakawala o makaalis? O hindi naman?
Yeah, well, ang next na, because I have to go home for my best friend's wedding sa December, uwi tayong Pilipinas. Uwi po akong Pilipinas. So, I have, pero magre-remote working pa rin po ako. So, may mga nakalaan na, pero para yun dahil uwi tayong Pilipinas. So, talagang kailangan advance na i-organize. But apart from that, wala pa.
Nabook naman yung ticket mo? Nakabook ka na ng ticket mo?
Hindi pa po. Hinihintay ko pang ma-lift yung...
Ma-lift na konti. Siya nga pala, no? Ngayon, ang pwede pumasok sa atin, OFWs, yung mga foreign nationals at saka yung maski yung parang may nabasa ako na medyo hindi pa ganun kaluwag. So kailangan mga OFWs. So maski Pinoy ka na maski returning balikbayan ka, baka may problema ka, magkaroon ka ng problema kaya. I-double check niyo yung kailangan yung passports. Oo.
Yeah, hopefully. Sana okay na. Fingers crossed tinan natin kapag na-lift na talaga yung mga I think mag-iiba pag nabakunahan na tayo lahat.
Yes.
Yung tingin sa ating mga taga-UK.
Hopefully. And then, saka yung mga immediate natin, attorney, let's say springtime or summertime, di ba? Well, siguro ang pinaka-quickest earliest na pwedeng lumabas tayo, get together would be, na siguro, ng mga summertime na kaya? Summertime na siguro, most likely summertime, no?
Exactly.
Then,
so, I'm looking forward to that locally na makalabas-labas naman.
Makalabas naman
tayo. Tayo, meet up, hiking.
Totoo yan, Makita ko rin yung mga apo ko, maisama ko yung apo ko, no? O makita ko yung mga apo ko.
Sige po, sama niya apo nyo.
Hindi ko kasi nakikita pa sila ngayon, malayo dahil nga baka mga carriers yan, di ba? Baka asymptomatic. Imbis na makita nila si Lolo forever, wala na. Isang taon lang, tigok na, no? Di ba? Wala na kagad. Because of COVID, no? Di ba? Wag naman. Pero yeah, we're looking forward. Isa na lang, attorney, question sa'yo. Paano ka ngayon? Ikaw ba yung nakakatakbo? Meron ka bang nag-exercise ka pa rin ba? Kasi ikaw, nagmamarathon. So, ibig sabihin, di ba? Yung, in terms of fitness and endurance, malakas yan, no? Malakas. Ikaw ba medyo pabalik uli? Magsisimula ka na naman? O you keep, nagme-maintain ka pa rin? Do you run still?
I'll be very honest, hindi pa. Nagpaplano. I'm waiting for the gyms to open as well. But hindi ako medyo napunta sa back burner yun.
Karin muna, di ba? Parang ganun muna.
Dealing with the work stuff muna.
Tama yan.
Dealing with the work stuff, keeping my head down, talagang
yes.
sa bahay-bahay lang muna, hanggat pwede na uling lumabas. Tsaka din po madalas umulan ngayon. Madalas umulan. So, dito sa amin, madalas umulan. Talagang, medyo hindi, hopefully when the weather is better, makakalabas-labas na uli. Yun talaga yung kapag better yung weather, mas masarap tumakbo. So,
Gano'n ka kalayo, attorney, sa Cambridge?
Not far too. I think an hour, I'm not sure, or less than an hour.
An hour?
Not far.
Okay.
Less than an hour, even. No, less than an hour, I think.
Less than an hour, okay.
Ganda po sa Cambridge. Ganda.
No, we've never ever been to Cambridge. Oxford, 1 million times, sabi na natin, no? Well, 1 million, parang lang yan, di ba? Figure of speech. Pero, ibig sabihin, napakaraming beses na, parang ilang beses na talaga. But with Cambridge, hindi. Ano yan, attorney?
Bicester Village ba yung pinuntahan? Kaya na parati sa Oxford.
Hindi. No, we just go there most of, pag may mga friends. Oh, Bicester din. Bicester kasi, di ba, parang malapit sa Oxford din, di ba? Oo, di
Sa
ba?
labas
Oxford.
din ng Oxford.
Oh, sa labas, Bister. Oh, yeah, pwede rin. Bister, malapit lang naman. But we always go. Siguro more than 30, 40 times na ako napunta ng Oxford, no?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Ang
Kasi parts of
dami.
Oxford could also be the Cotswolds, eh. Yung Cotswolds,
Okay.
Oxfordshire,
Yun nga, Cotswolds.
maraming ano yan eh. May parang nag-overlap yung mga
Yeah.
how do you call Oxfordshire? Berkshire, mga ganyan. Is it
County.
county? Sabihin na natin county. Okay. So, ang Cotswolds parang ano yan eh, mga nag-overlap na mga counties na kasama ang Oxfordshire. So, yeah.
Really?
Kung if you will consider Oxford, kasi Oxfordshire is the whole ano na rin, di ba? Malaking lugar din yan. Just like Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, di ba? Hampshire,
Yeah.
Berkshire, puro shire, no?
Sure.
Okay. Well, napasarap ang kwentuhan natin pala
Masarap.
at
Sarap ng
napasarap
kwento.
yung ano no ilang ano ko na rin na naming makikita uli no. Mga teka muna mga holidays na pinag-usapan. Mamaya na yan. Paano na muna si attorney?
Next week, balik tayo. Holidays
Babalik
ang
tayo.
usapan
Pag-uusapan natin yan. Okay. Attorney, baka baka may nais kang iparating sa ating mga babayan sa ating pamamaalam. May kami mensahe ka pa. Go right ahead, please. At kung saan ka pwedeng kontakin, no?
Exactly. So, thank you so much again sa lahat ng mga kababayan natin. Edgar, maraming salamat sa iyo for always participating. And sa lahat na nag-participate ngayon, mga Virginias, lahat ng Virginias, and everyone. And most of all, thank you, Mr. Laragan, for having me here. It's always a pleasure to go back sa Filipino home natin, Filipino tiny support bubble. And as always, happy Tuesday. Keep safe. Malapit na tayo sa finish line. So, keep safe and keep strong. And if you have any other questions, do email me at d.quinto@ddsolicitors.com or call at 01234225188. Thank you and have a happy Tuesday.
Well, you're always welcome, no? Kami natutuwa. We're the ones actually so grateful that you're around, keeping us company with your bubbliness and yung smiles mo. It really indeed makes it a happy Tuesday for us, di ba? Parang looking forward. Oh, yan na naman si Attorney Dana. At sige, para tayong pasok na tayo sa classroom natin, no? And thank you very much for welcoming us and welcoming Attorney Dana sa inyong mga tahanan, no? So, thank you very much for the company, no? Itong ating social bubble, how do we call this? Virtual social
Remote
bubble.
social bubble.
Bubble na
Remote
ginagawa
social
natin
bubble.
has been very helpful to all of us. Dahil maski paano, di ba nga sabi nga nila, pag nanonood ka ng pelikula, pag may, may problema, habang nanonood sila ay lumilipas, at least maski panandalian yung kanilang problema. Dito naman, we're so glad that you're there. And this little time that we have, itong oras natin every Tuesday na evening, nagiging parang samahan natin, parang gathering natin and get together. Andyan kayo, no? Nagpaparamdam kayo with your messages. Thank you very much. So, that's, we really want to thank you guys. So, sa ngalan ni Attorney Dana Quinto, no? Ito po ang inyong kaibigan. Ayan, Sunny Laragan. Nagsasabing thank you very much. Ingat-ingat ho, no? Wash your hands.
Ingat.
Wear your mask, no? At social distancing pa rin, no? Dahil na malapit na tayo, sabi nga Attorney Dana, konti na lang at ando na tayo. At and then who knows, at least tuloy-tuloy na ho, wala na tayong restrictions. And little by little we can live normally, no? And do the things that we want. So maraming salamat. Till next Tuesday for Attorney Dana, no? Ito po Sunny Laragan nagsasabing good night. Thank you. Sweet dreams. Bye.